Welcome to this, good event, but it's also a bit of a sad moment. It's the final series of the joint webinar series by EBN and EUSPA on space technologies for various applications in multiple sectors. Today we'll be discussing space technologies for healthcare and medtech. And again, it's the final edition. We extended the session with 2 extra editions. Of course, we're already discussing new initiatives between EBN and EUSPA, so stay tuned. We will definitely keep you posted on what's coming after this. First, for this evening, we have 1 hour. We'll aim to bring together the space industry, startup and business support communities by exploring the potential of data from satellites and showcasing how you can unlock new business opportunities, specifically in the medtech and healthcare sectors. I'm letting a few people in. My name is Bram Bouwels. I'm Strategic Partnership Manager within EBN. We are joined today, and we're very pleased with the colleagues representing EUSPA, Marketa, Management Consultant, and Jacopo, Business Consultant, working for EUSPA. Uniquely for the audience today, for you in the group, I have to say thank you for those who have been with us for the last 6 episodes. Well, the 6th episode now. For those you're familiar with the concept, we invite you to turn your cameras up. Feel free to post your questions in the chat. It's an interactive session. The specialists are here to answer your questions as well, both from EBN and EUSPA side. So don't be shy. Let's treat it as a conversation more than a one-directional webinar. So we really invite you to use the chat. Marketa and Jacopo, they will showcase ideas and innovative solutions utilizing EUSPA services, so Europe's Earth observation services from GNSS and others. And of course, tailored to you, we'll focus on entrepreneurial solutions. Before we dive into the agenda, of course, I think we're all aware of how this works. Please mute your microphone, but turn your camera up if you want. The presentations will be shared afterwards, including the recording. And after the quick introduction, which I will give about EBN and the parts by Marketa and Jacopo, there will be a Q&A. So anywho, you can place your questions in the chat in the meantime. Here we go. The introduction today. I will give 4 slides about EBN, and then Marketa takes over to tell you a bit more about, about the EU space program and the opportunities that sit within there. I think jointly you will, Marketa and Jacopo, you will discuss the application on the healthcare and medtech sectors, correct? All right, let's get started. Quickly about EBN. What we see is society grappling for solutions. We have no doubt that innovative technology is destined to be central to solving our global challenges. EBN serves organizations, and I will tell you a bit more what kind of organizations that are later on, that specifically use business and innovation as a force for regional, economic, sustainable, and social development. And our members are distinctible and recognizable through their excellent performance and the EUBIC quality certification. EBN facilitates their connection via the EUBIC community. What can we say about their members? The certified EUBICs and our associate members, roughly around 160, use the best possible actions to create thriving startups and SMEs working in industries ranging from space, deep tech, AI, medtech, agri-food, smart materials, etc. The key feature of the EUBICs, as we call our members and the centers that are quality certified, they're taking real steps to ensure that their services are best advantageous to their clients. They do that through rigorous assessment, yearly, through peer reviews, which helps them obtain and maintain the EUBIC certification. Their services that are focused to be best advantageous to their clients and their regions. Quick snapshot of data. 160 plus quality certified EUBICs and associate members over 35 countries shape the global EUBIC community. Ranging from a diverse background, yet what you see like Armenian, most of our members are accelerators, incubators, science parks, academia, spin-off centers, and technology transfer organizations. A diverse range, but they all unite around 4 common mission commitments, which we have set up from EBN and which we shared with the community. The community focuses on these 4 pillars: driving regional economic development, which is the key part of our mission, and we'll maintain our mission for 3 decades as well. Delivering quality business support, which is measured through the EU BIC certification and the assessment. And they do that quite well. What we see is that EU BICs outperform other accelerators and incubators in first and 5-year survival rates with impressive numbers, roughly around 74% 3-year survival rates. It's a number that we proudly, of course, communicate. Our members facilitate access to finance. Last year, access to 1.3 billion cumulatively among the members. Finance facilitated for roughly around 36,000 startups. Last but not least, naturally, what comes with a global pan-European network, we facilitate the scaling of European innovation and services. Scaling European innovation, and these are the services that EBN provides to our members very roughly, and I won't take much more time together with our partners such as EUSPA, with our members and with the innovators represented by our members. We really look forward to making Europe the hub for the solving global challenges, powered by innovation, technology, and the ingenuity of entrepreneurial innovators as yourself and your clients. And on this note, it's the cue for Marketa. I would like to give the word to you to introduce EUSPA and some of the many opportunities available within the EUSPA.
Thank you very much, Bram, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marketa Godishev. As Bram introduced us, we are working for EUSPA, for Market Development Team as consultants. And we are happy that we could join this last session and speak a little bit about space technologies for healthcare. So now I will give floor to Jacopo to start with the presentation, and I will get back to you later.
Okay, thanks, Marketa. So my name is Jacopo Varelli, and as Marketa and Brown were just saying, I work for EUSPA as a consultant. So in this first slot of slides, I will introduce you a bit about EUSPA. I'm sure that many of you already know the agency and what we do, because I can see many familiar faces. Nevertheless, I will spend a few words to describe the EUSPA activities, starting with the new EU space program that has been established last year together with the new space regulation. And so now under this program, we have all the EU space activities under a single umbrella. So this means that the space programs, the single space programs of European Union, including EGNOS, Galileo, Copernicus, GovSatcom, and others being shaped, including the Space Situational Awareness and the Secure Connectivity One. They are all managed under a single framework, let's say, and EUSPA, the European Union Agency for the Space Program, has been established last year to govern, to manage all those space assets with different level of responsibilities, it should be said. And those assets are EGNOS and Galileo, that together form the European Union Global Satellite Navigation System capabilities. Copernicus, that is a big addition to EUSPA activities. We will see later on more in details how Copernicus can support healthcare application. Then we have GovSatcom, that is really relevant for what regards the secure satellite communication for governmental stakeholders. And then others program yet to come, let's say, they relate to space situational awareness, more and more relevant in this congested space, outer space, let's say. And then there is the secure connectivity program. So EUSPA has been established last year in 2021. Nevertheless, it is established on the ground of GSA, the GNSS supervisory agency, that was in charge of EGNOS and Galileo market development since many years. And indeed, in these regards, we have achieved as agency for what regards the market development a good level of adoption of Galileo and EGNOS. Here in this slide, you can see some of our, let's say, achievements, adoption results, including 3 more billion of Galileo-enabled smartphones, or you can see for each verticals what are the level of adoption being achieved. And without reviewing each of them, I would rather suggest you to consult the EUSPA, EO, and GNSS market report. That is a really comprehensive source of information for what regards the EU space data in many verticals. If I'm not mistaken, we have 17 verticals, so including transport-related user domains, for sure, including rail, road, aviation, and so on, but many other verticals, and some of them, they also relate to healthcare. Indeed, we don't have yet in this report a specific chapter, let's say, on healthcare. It is something it will be produced most likely in the next report. Nevertheless, you will find in this edition an editor special focusing on innovative solution for health, and across those 4 segments on the left side of the slide, so climate services or consumer solution, tourism and health, biodiversity, ecosystem and natural capital, and finally emergency management and humanitarian aid. Across those pages, you will find yet relevant information related to healthcare. And we believe that this report can really provide some food for thought in order to develop some innovative applications. You can see the market trends, for example, and so on, that for sure can contribute to make you to allow you to have a better idea on how to use EU space data in your applications. Really important to highlight is how EUSPA manages several funding tools able to stimulate innovation and fostering the EU aerospace ecosystem. So in this page, I will list all of them, including Cassini and Entrepreneurship Initiative, Horizon Europe, that together are probably the most relevant to you, because then we have Galileo EGNOS research, including Fundamental Elements program, that is really interesting for what regards the development of innovative Galileo and EGNOS hardware, let's say, including receivers, antennas, and chipset, but probably a bit less interesting for you. And then finally, we have adoption grants that are also relevant, but in this specific moment, they are only related to aviation vertical. So again, not really focusing focused with healthcare. On the other hand, Cassini and the Entrepreneurship, it's a really interesting initiative. It is also something new, basically from since last year, if I'm not mistaken. And it really targets small entrepreneurs, startup, and so on. Here you can see all the initiatives, including Galileo Masters, Cassini Startup Initiative, or so on, already being developed under this initiative. And then Horizon Europe, that I'm sure you know, that is that targets the development of innovative application. So focusing a bit more on Cassini, you see here all the opportunities related. So from the solution developments through hackathons, competitions, or connection to accelerators, incubators. Then there is an advice part for what regards both technical and business one. For sure, there is the networking part. So through dedicated promotion, interaction with industry, and so on. And then also really important is the funding opportunities with many initiatives connecting with venture capitals or European Investment Bank, EBN, or even the initiative we are doing right now. To some extent, it is related to this Cassini initiative for sure. Then really important is this the new EU space competition that has been open a few weeks ago. That is about the development of an idea using EU space data. This initiative, this opportunity really targets small entrepreneurs. There is €1 million prize pool with 30 awards. It is really important to you can find in the link, of course, this slide will be shared, the link, the reference to the competition. And really important to underline is that there is time until the end of the month, 30th of November, to submit your idea. So if you have something going on, it's really important to do it as soon as possible. Then this is another initiative within the Cassini opportunity. And in this case, we talk about the EUSPA Space Academy, recently introduced. And again, it is about training and mentoring made available to everyone is requesting. And so we have trainings, workshop, one-to-one meeting. And we believe that these kind of initiatives can really speed up the EU space data adoption by entrepreneurs and so on. So again, you are invited to have a look to the site and eventually participate. For what regards Horizon Europe, the calls have been announced open, let's say, a few weeks ago again, I believe mid-October, if I'm not mistaken. Nevertheless, what is important to underline is we have a big budget because we have 48.1 million euro to develop, to submit your proposal to develop innovative applications and services using EU space data. You can see here we have 6 calls related to EUSPA and EU space data. Of course, those calls have different objectives, and perhaps the first one and the last one of the list are not really focusing on healthcare solutions. Nevertheless, all the other 4, I think that the healthcare topic can be included because, of course, they're a bit more transversal, and you see this means that there are about 30 million euro available for you to develop some relevant, interesting application. And so here you can find some reference to the type of actions. So we have innovation actions, research and innovation action, and pre-commercial procurement. All of those, they have different specificities, but still the key highlight here is really to have a look to those opportunities because they can really provide you the financing to your idea with a funding rate that in some case it is up to 100%. Then let me also provide you some information about this other initiative we are conducting in EUSPA. This is about a user consultation platform. Actually, the motto of EUSPA is really linking space to user needs. So we always consult with users and so on in different user domains. And this year, in September, we had the user consultation 2022, in which we have engaged user communities from different industries, and health topic was also included within the consumer solution, tourism and health. And outcomes of this session will be distributed, made public in the upcoming weeks, I believe. So again, be tuned with EUSPA. You can sign up for a newsletter focusing on entrepreneurship opportunities, and be sure you will find updated information about everything is going on for what regards healthcare and also other user domains.
So thank you, Jacopo, for the introduction. And I would like to now deep dive into space technologies for healthcare. Jacopo already introduced the components of the space program and explained the Galileo and Copernicus. I would like to now talk a little bit about Galileo and Copernicus, those two programs, and their relationship or their contribution to healthcare sector. So from emergency caller location to monitoring of elderly patients, Galileo contributes to or has a substantial impact on our health and safety. For example, it supports the development of telemedicine or medical transport and guidance for visually and physically impaired. And of course, there are applications that are GNSS or Galileo enabled, such as fitness trackers or different variables, well-being smartphone applications. That already today are part of our life. So these applications provide you information about your performance, about heart rate, but many of them are using Galileo as a source of positioning. Copernicus, it's as Jacopo mentioned, Earth Observation Program, European Union Earth Observation Program, and it provides different information about climate, air, land, water. And there are several components of Copernicus. First, there is a space component. There are satellites providing data. We call it sentinel data. Then there is an in-situ components. These meaning these data are coming from sensors, and they are Copernicus services. And these services, there are 6 of them. On the slide, you can see those that are relevant for healthcare. And those services, they combine different sources of data and provide products that are directly usable in applications. And there is the atmosphere monitoring service, as you can see later on when we will be showing the examples. It's widely used in healthcare solutions. Then there is a climate change and emergency management service. And there are different data available for healthcare segment. As you can see, for example, atmospheric data that includes air temperature, humidity, wind speed and direction, birch pollen, but not only birch pollen, also grass or olive and other types of pollen, solar radiation, natural emissions or greenhouse gas. Then there are more of them. We wanted to, we highlighted few to give you an idea and to explain, but there are more data under each group. So second group, ocean data. Also there is information about temperature, color, wave height, surface wind, salinity or algas. And then about water, so water extent, water temperature, color, algas, water color, or water level for lakes, and some terrestrial data like land use, land temperature, soil moisture, fire disturbance or deformation. And based on the EUSPA analysis of the market, we wanted to give you examples of the data that are already used in the applications. So for example, as you can see on the left side, for example, UV index, birch pollen or pollution levels, temperature, relative humidity, cloud cover, wind speed, fire intensity, or surface ozone and total column sulfur dioxide are used in the application. And what is important to say that these data are free of charge for commercial use. It's available globally. So it enables easy scalability of the applications or of the services. And because the Copernicus provides data also from the past, so you can build your own analysis and perhaps link with other sorts of data so that it gives you some insights. But it also offers products that provides, for example, daily forecasts or forecasts for next 3-4 days. And some of the products are near real time, but it really depends on the type of the data, on the particular indicator. But it really provides different sorts of data about past, present, and future. What I mentioned, which service is in particular relevant for healthcare is atmosphere monitoring service. And there are several categories or several groups of applications that where the space data are already applied. So for example, Earth observation became part of personal applications and variables. I will give some examples later on, but one of the examples is, for example, using of the pollen data in mHealth applications that give people with asthma or respiratory problems information about the level of pollen or predictions, and these people can avoid certain areas with high pollen levels, for example. Then Earth observation helps to fight vector diseases and therefore support prevention, early warning, and healthcare planning. And also it contributes to monitor and predict heat wave risks. And space data contributes to different application areas in healthcare already today. And now we would like to give you a few examples, show you some use cases where the Copernicus data are used. Some of those applications or companies, they are coming from EUSPA competitions or hackathons. Some of them not, but based on the analysis of the market, we identify them as interesting examples to showcase the usage of space data. So firstly, I would like to introduce these two applications that are Galileo-based, and they are both coming from My Galileo solution, which was the competition managed by EUSPA. So first one is Oculus Tracker, and it's a GNSS tracker for Alpine ski racers. And it's using precise positioning of Galileo to provide detailed analysis of the sport person's performance directly to a smartphone, tablet, or PC. And another example, Follow Me by Runblind. It's a precision guidance solution based on sound augmented reality. And here, the accurate and reliable positioning is the key enabler of a product that is dedicated to visually impaired people so that they can perform outdoor activities.
Yeah, the second application is UV Bodyguard. It is a Copernicus Master winner. And in this case, this application allows you to being protected by ultraviolet exposure. Indeed, we all know that is can be pretty harmful to our health. And this solution that is, by the way, already on sale, so you can go on the website and eventually buy. Basically, it is a device that leverage Copernicus data, but also receive some local data about specific to the location. And it measures UV radiation, sends the data to your smartphone, and then in case of any danger, warns you on time, and it leverages Sentinel-5P data, and specifically the CAMS service being provided by Copernicus.
There are two other applications, both mobile applications, using Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Service as a source of data. First one, Discover. It provides information for Greece and Cyprus to their residents and visitors. And it recommends optimal time to visit any given location based on its air quality, UV index, pollen, and temperature. Another example, Pacifo, Personal Allergy Symptom Forecasting System, also using data from Copernicus Atmosphere Monitoring Service, and its allergy symptoms forecast built for a person with allergy, asthma, or breathing problems. And this person can have a possibility to compare allergy complaints with the concentration of pollen in the air. So then the app gives the user personalized advice.
Yeah, this other initiative, it is called AQ Watcher, and it is a Horizon 2020 project. So you can actually see in real terms how the different tools made available by EUSPA, no? As I was saying before, are contributing to the application development. Before we had application from Copernicus Master and from EU Space competition, in this case by Horizon 2020. So a reason more to participate to the next course by Horizon Europe. And in this case, again, we talk about air quality. And this application, leveraging Copernicus data and in situ measurements, is able to verify the quality of the air we all use, and of course can be available tool for stakeholders involved in the public health and so on. And it is also a coverage that is worldwide, so can really contribute to make Copernicus data being used outside the European Union.
And as I mentioned before, Copernicus helps to or contributes to fight vector or analyze and monitor vector-borne diseases. And a good example is EYWA, which stands for Early Warning System for Mosquito-Borne Diseases. And this initiative is supported by the European Commission, and it's a prototype system addressing the critical public health need for prevention and protection against the mosquito-borne diseases. And this group of epidemiologists, but also big data analysis and different sciences, they use different sources of data about, for example, vegetation, humidity, air, and they forecast where mosquito-borne diseases could spread in future based on different based on the analysis of the different sources of the data. And on the right side, you can see key data sets that were used, for example, Sentinel-2 data, which is coming from Copernicus, but also Landsat data, which are coming from US Earth Observation System and others. And its first EIC Horizon Prize on early warning for epidemics.
So this application is called Telesense by the French company Diginov. And in this case, thanks to Copernicus data, they managed to understand the evolution, the development of migration settlements in sub-Saharan Africa, and integrating Copernicus data, of course, with other local data, they can have a really good understanding of the basic needs of those settlements, so including the vaccination campaign, performing preventive screening, and altogether to understand what are the response that public stakeholders they need to undertake to ensure the public health of those settlements.
Another use case, it's called Dipteron, and it's a startup founded in 2018 with the goal of providing an application for detecting Aedes mosquito risk areas. And this early identification of vulnerable areas is crucial to control the spread of the diseases. And this application can detect such risk areas based on AI, artificial intelligence, but they combine it with satellite data and also ground data, and build a prediction model of 4 weeks in advance for outbreaks. And as you can see, there are different kind of data used, but from Copernicus, for example, Sentinel-1, 2, and 3.
This application has been developed by Terraria, StudioMap, and Unimore, the university from Modena in Italy. And it is an example of how Copernicus data can have helped Italy to provide a response to the COVID-19 outbreak. And within this initiative, that was a local implementation, but yet very promising, they managed to combining Copernicus data with artificial intelligence data and so on, to really perform a very accurate forecast of COVID-19 outbreak. And this information, of course, it has been very useful for all the public authorities involved, so that they can really manage and to tailor the response to the COVID-19 outbreak in the best way, and so preparing all the needed countermeasures.
Yes, and finally, I would like to give you an example about IDEO. And the goal of the project is to connect, again, AI and observation data to find patterns and to assess potential of automated process in making predictions and to analyze spread of disease in Italy. And this project aims to develop innovative, scalable, and accurate process to produce the West Nile disease risk maps, as I said, using EO and specific AI algorithms. And now it's time for Q&A, so we are happy to answer all of your questions. And if you are interested to learn more or stay in touch, as Jacopo said, get in touch with us, sign up for a newsletter, and we are happy to discuss further cooperation together.
Perfect. Thank you, Marketa. Thank you, Jacopo. To deal with the question that was asked earlier already by Francesco about the open day at EUSPA coming up in, I believe, the 8th of December, top of mind. Is that also open for other visitors except for university-based visitors?
The open days, I think they are 9 to 10, if I'm not mistaken. We can check, but I believe it's open for any visitor. Right.
Yeah, I'm gonna check.
Yeah,
for sure.
we have to double check, but from what we organized previous year, it was open for public as well. Only there were specific sessions that were targeted to students, for example. But just give us a minute and.
Yes. If you want, maybe we can go. Okay, 9 and 10 December.
Yes, it's 9 to 10 December.
For sure, it is the suggestion is to go to EUSPA website. We really have a good communication department, so all the information are pretty updated. But I can see it is 9 to 10 December. And well, I believe that there is not really any registration. Basically, the word open days really means that EUSPA opens its doors to everyone. And so I believe that you just have to come, basically.
Okay.
Yes, because the registration is only for schools, because there are specific sessions for students, but for a visitor, the agency is open. But it's only 9 to 10, not 8.
Okay. That answers your question, Francesco, I believe. Looking at you. Sort of. Yes, no. Maybe. Another question from Paul van Kempen. Which applications are most mature with respect to the successful commercial business model? We'll take about market uptake. I think it relates to the final part of the presentation. Feel free to jump in, Paul, if you want to elaborate.
Yeah, it indeed relates to the maturity of the business models behind these applications that were presented indeed.
I'm not sure there is an easy answer, because the applications we show, some of them are really like research applications, while the others are consumer solutions, such as mobile application and wearables. Overall, I would say that the healthcare sector, the healthcare sector is new, or the data are just being used, or it just started, compared, for example, the agriculture sector, which is much more mature. So I don't think that is an easy answer to this question, because the projects that we showed are very, very diverse. And I don't know, Jacopo, if you want to.
Yeah, I would confirm there is not for sure an easy answer. Of course, in some cases, maybe the ones including some handheld device or so on, they are somehow a bit more mature, also because they can rely on the presence of local data. Nevertheless, we really shared many different kind of applications. So some of them resulting in a real product, but some other that are indeed in a research state. And so it really depends. It really depends, I would say.
Okay, I think a related question as well, both from Wim and I see from Dennis Alexander as well, tapping into more indeed creating demand for innovation. Something that EBN and EUSPA are exploring, for example, for the fintech sector and for the insurtech sector. There are many great solutions out there. Often we see indeed that either the end user is not there yet because they're not aware of what they can do with the potential application. Marketa, perhaps towards you or Jacopo, great project examples. Do you already have some idea who the end users are or could be potentially? Is it tending more to corporates, more tending to SMEs, or where do you see the uptake of the innovation?
Well, for sure, there is, when it comes Copernicus data, there is a long tradition of public authorities involved in the healthcare sector, and they are for sure the primary users of those solutions. Nevertheless, research is also, researchers are really pretty using those kind of data. I remember today's a symposium last year. There were really many examples. Indeed, we can also say that perhaps this usage of space data, it's also connecting to the previous question, is pretty mature, because we really see how researchers correlating, of course, different source of information, but Copernicus, they really cover an important role. They manage to extrapolate relevant findings regarding the outbreak of some disease, the spreading of some disease. So this is really relevant. And in this case, of course, we talk about the research level. Nevertheless, the final users, again, you can pretty imagine we have pharmaceutical companies, or we have, again, public authorities or stakeholders involved in the provision of healthcare services. That for sure really important. At EUSPA, our focus is on commercial users. So we see indeed also some potential for a mass market user, let's say, user base. And well, we have provided already some perhaps niche products, but perhaps in some user communities, for example, when we talk about quality of air or UV radiation, well, those projects can also make a difference and having some specific relevance, I would say. So they are more or less our end users, the ones we have in mind. I don't know, Marketa, if you wanna add anything.
No, I agree. As Jacopo said, that we call it traditional end user are the governments or municipalities, but we are also now focusing on the commercial part. So we are in touch with pharmaceutical companies or some companies that process data and then provide products towards pharmaceutical companies. So this is an example of end user, but then of course also B2C, or as Jacopo said, mass market. So every one of us could be the end users, and we gave some examples like this UV bodyguard or this app providing information about pollen levels. It targets individuals. Anyone with the mobile app. Now I hear someone.
Yeah, now it's fixed.
We had an open microphone. Accidentally.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Wim, coming for you, indeed, the question similar to that. We seem to focus much on the uptake of the innovation. Do we have any examples of non-space industries using Earth observation and navigation data for healthcare? Non-space industries, I think we just tapped into a few already.
Okay. I think it's related to what we were talking about.
Well, yeah, basically when we were mentioning before big pharma or so on, I mean, we are still somehow studying more and more the segment, the opportunities and so on. I want to say it is something a bit new for us, but still we have some contacts with relevant pharmaceutical companies, and I have to say that some of them, they saw the opportunity, some of them already knew the Copernicus data. And of course, there are some challenges at the implementation level, including, for example, the granularity, let's say, the precision of the Copernicus information or so on. I mean, of course, there are always some challenges related to the adoption. Nevertheless, the interest is huge, and some of them they're already using, for example, in the research field. It is eventually a bit more challenging to overpass this domain and really to produce applications able to use Copernicus on their daily activities, for example, related to the logistic, and in that case also GNSS can play a role. Nevertheless, we are working on it, and it will come soon.
Perfect, thank you. And indeed, I was aware it was previously discussed as well. Any further questions to Marketa or to EBN or to Jacopo? Free to open your mic. Otherwise, indeed, a big lesson learned from here. Both parties, both EBN and EUSPA, are working hard to stimulate the demand for innovation. Indeed, I'm aware of EUSPA demonstrator projects that really scope the market need for indeed uptake, for example, space data for healthcare, but also for fintech. From our end, we're trying to indeed rally around corporates as well to steer open innovation and drive the uptake of SME innovation. On that note, it's sad but true. This is the last episode of our series. I will post the link to EBN YouTube channel where you can watch the other ones as well. The recording will be shared afterwards. Marketa, Jacopo, a huge thank you. And participants, thank you as well.
Thank you, Bram, and thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.
Have a nice evening. Have a nice day.
Have a nice evening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.